This video is a companion to the post on the website Christian Musician Training Resource entitled How to Play Piano Chords. In that post, I discussed the use of one triad from the major scale with different bass notes to make 7 new chords. And all of these chords are derived from that one scale. And in this particular case, we're going to use the C major scale because it's an easy one to show fundamentals in, because all the keys are white keys. There's no getting confused as to whether you should be going up or down in terms of notes. Do recall, when you're making a triad, you are usually skipping notes in the scale. And as we use the C major scale, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, if you were going to make chords, you would just skip notes. C, E, G, B, and you do this all the way up to the 13th, and basically doing that, you'd end up with a C13 chord. Now we're going to take that same concept, but what we're going to do is use what's called modes. And for this discussion, we're not going to go into the theory of modes. The only thing you really need to understand is that you can make a new scale on each note in the parent scale, in this case C major scale, going from that new note to its repeat, to its octave, using the same notes in the C major scale. By example, you could go from D to D using the same notes in the C major scale, and you can make chords based on that. You can do E to E in the C major scale, and you can make chords based on that. And same thing with F, G, A, and B. And that's what I'm going to demonstrate using the C major scale as the foundation scale and using the C major triad as the foundation chord. So to start off with, if we use the C major triad with the root C and add the B on top, we now have a C major triad. You would probably never play it like this because you're repeating the root. Some people would play just the E minor triad on top, but that's again, that's something for a different discussion. What we're talking about now is using this triad to make different chords. So if we go up to the next note, which would be D, and we use a C minor triad or C major triad, we would end up with a D minor 11th chord. Where in this chord, C would be the flatted 7th, E would be the 9th, and G would be the 11th. Moving up to the next note, using the C major triad with an E in the bass. In this particular case, C becomes the sharp 5 or flat 6, however you want to call it. E is the root of the chord, and G is the minor 3rd. So we're going to end up with an E minor 7 flat 5, but we need to add the flatted 7th, which is D, and now we have a E minor 7 flat 5 using the C triad and adding the 9th from the E scale. Moving up to the next note, using the C triad, we would only need to add 2 notes from F, and we'd end up with an F major 9th scale chord. And in this case, C would be the 5th, E would be the 7th, and G would be the 9th. Moving up one more, we'd go to G. Now this one we'd need to add some additional notes because G's already in the bass because it's the root of the chord. So we'd need to add the 7th, the 9th, and in this case we would add the C, which would be the 11th, and then we'd add E, which would be the 13th. And that would give you your G dominant 13. Now, of course, when you play this chord, you're going to voice it completely different and that again is something for a different discussion. But just for the purpose of showing you how you can use the C triad with a different bass note in the same scale and create a different chord, you would create this G 13th chord. The next chord, you'd go up to the A, and you can see that in the A chord you already have the C and the E. You have the third, the minor third and the fifth, and then you would just add the seventh. And this chord is typically played in an inverted manner with the G on the bottom, the C, E, and then the A. And now you have A minor 7. You can double any of the notes that would make it sound more fuller based on your ear, however you want to do it. But using the C triad inverted with A in the bass, you end up with an A minor 7 chord. And the last one is a weird ends up with a weird spelling for a chord, and the only portion of it that you'd actually probably use is the B minor 7 flat 5. I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me show it to you first. With this chord, you'd play the bottom notes of the B chord, and you'd add the triad on top, and you can hear that certain notes are clashing. Primarily this E, this 11, because what you actually have is a B minor 7 flat 5 chord, which is this is your B normal, this is your B minor, and because you're not double flatting the 7th, you basically have a minor 7 chord with a flatted 5. And then when you add the C, E, and the G, you end up with a flatted 9, an 11th, and a flatted 13th. That's a chord you'd probably never see, but it's a chord you could use by omitting certain notes in it in your voicing. So that gives you an idea of how you can take one triad from a parent scale, and using the other mode notes in the scale, you can build new chords to begin learning how to voice your more advanced sounding chords. There's a table in the post on the website Christian Musician Training Resource, which shows you the parent scale, which is the C major scale, and the different modal scales, and what function the notes of the C major triad would have in each one of those modes as you build these chords. Hope this has been useful. I will be posting some more detailed information on other portions of this that really deserve individual posts, and I'll be looking at this and seeing how I can break those into smaller posts. But that's all for now. God bless. See you next time.